Hi, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, we're tracking the southerly change, which is dropping temperatures, but in many places it's only dropping them back to where they should be because it's been so much warmer than it was supposed to be over the last week or two. So now we're getting a reset, and that's all due to this southerly change which is working its way northwards. It moves across the North Island over Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. So by the end of today, everybody is colder than they were over the last few days, but that doesn't mean you're colder than it should be. So let me just show you some temperature maps for today, tonight and tomorrow, because it gives you a very good understanding as to just how cold or not cold this event actually is. So this is today's departure from normal. So the areas you can see here in the blue shading around the eastern side of the South Island and the western side of the north, those places are below average today. But everybody else is either average or even slightly above average, as you can see here on the west coast. So not everybody is really feeling the cold. Only about 50% of the country is below average today. But tonight it does get colder. 2/3 of New Zealand colder than average tonight. However, Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin, Invercargill, Queenstown, Alexandra, all those places have normal overnight lows for this time of the year. And then when you compare this with tomorrow's weather, tomorrow's temperatures, most of the country, most of the main centres, most of the main towns are really about normal for this time of the year. And in fact, over on the west coast, you're warmer than average in some areas. But the North Island, this is the only area that's really below average in any significant way, and it's only by a degree or two. So not really that big a cold snap, and things do warm back up again by the time we get to the end of Thursday, and that's because winds start to turn more westerly. So we'll get onto the forecast in a moment, but one last map I wanted to show you is the 3-day snowfall outlook. As you can see, it's not falling to sea level in most places. That area there's the Kaikoura Ranges. So we've got snow for the Desert Road, snow in the North Island's mountains and ranges, and the Southern Alps are getting a dusting. But most main areas are not, or most main centres I should say, are not getting snow. It's just really Queenstown that's getting it, and Wanaka, it's on the hills around you, very, very close. So let's take a look and see what is going on. So as you can see for Thursday, most of the wet weather and the cold stuff's actually out to our east. You can see why this portion of the North Island's colder than average. That's where the southerly and the showers are still coming in. But most other areas are dry, and we're going to see a drying out effect on Thursday. Now by the time we get to Friday, in comes the next surge. Before it arrives, you've actually got a windy westerly for the North Island that will push temperatures up. So it should be a mild morning up in the north, but it does turn wintry again, and this is quite a rough change on Friday. Strong to gale force winds through here. We might be seeing some power cuts, we might be seeing some flight cancellations and delays, especially with the smaller turboprop aircrafts. They don't like gale force winds, and this is a windy day on Friday, especially around the South Island and the lower North Island. Now into the weekend, and it's a little bit warmer for some places on Saturday morning because of the more westerly flow. Look how dry it is around these eastern areas. So the Bay of Islands, Coromandel, Bay of Plenty, Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, Waited Upper, right down towards Canterbury and Otago. This whole side, mostly sunny. The other side, mostly wet. Windy as well. Windy in many places across the country on Saturday. And guess what? On Sunday, no real change. In fact, another surge of rain and cold weather moves in. So we've got a wintry weekend coming up. It makes up for the last couple of months which have barely been wintry. So a wintry weekend, wind is the main feature. It's going to be windy both days. Perhaps a bigger surge on Sunday of those windy west to southwest winds. And then we get to Monday and it turns more southwest on Monday. It is cooler, but the showers do start to ease. It's still dry though in all those eastern areas. And the weather forecast for much of next week, westerly winds. So that means it'll be warmer next week for the most part, although we are tracking a potential southerly, which you can't see on the map at the moment, which might come in next week as well. So a messy, chaotic forecast as we go into the month of August. July, it ends on a colder note, but overall, July was warmer than average across New Zealand. That's all from me. We'll update you again on Thursday.